think a good question to be asking now in these turbulent times, because I think all of us and our country are being tested in ways that we've not been tested before. So it's a good time to ask, why do we find ourselves being more inclined to the Democratic Party than to no party or to the Republican Party? So I think a lot of it really is based upon how you grew up, when you grew up, the kind of household you grew up in. For me, I was 6 years old when JFK was elected president, and I grew up in a Catholic home. I went to Catholic school for 12 years. I attended church every Sunday. And I was 9 years old when JFK was assassinated. And I do remember my household in those days following were, a lot of misery in my home. So even though I was pretty young, I believe that I did understand why my parents were so dedicated to the Kennedys. So then I went to school, and during those times, I think my political instincts were fueled by a number of things. First of all, there were many protests happening in the country, protesting against the war in Southeast Asia, civil rights, but also there was a cultural revolution going on during that time. As we saw through different kinds of hairstyles, we saw it in our music, and we saw it even in drugs. So after that, I went on to college, and I got my first job with the federal government that ended up actually lasting for 30 years. It was my mother's sister, my aunt, who convinced me to get a job with the federal government because I would have health benefits for life. And she was absolutely right. So I thank her for that. My career, my civil service career with the government did last for 30 years. The first president that I voted for was Jimmy Carter. So you can say I devoted my life to civil service.